सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। We are into the last topic of this text, Vivekachoodamani, and the topic is of mukti. And in that, we are seeing a subtopic, jivan mukti. We saw so far that the teacher is initially explaining the state of jivan mukti and how that jivan mukta is free from all karmas. That the teacher has explained. Then the student who has become a jivan mukta has expressed his feelings, expressed his experience, and thus we have 40 odd verses which are showing again the jivan mukta lakshana from the mouth of jivan mukta. Right? And now we come back to the teacher. Now again the teacher is saying a few things about this jivan mukta. And there we were seeing these four verses where it is being mentioned that jnani revels in the self so much that there is no niyama, there is no dependence on anything else. Last session we saw one verse, verse number 530. Na desha kalasana digyamadi lakshadi apeksha apratibaddha vrittehe samsiddha tattvasya mahatmanah asti swavedane ka niyamadi avastha. Apratibaddha vrittehe, for a person whose mind or whose thoughts are unobstructed, apratibaddha. For such a person, desha, kala, asana, dik, yama, lakshya, adi apeksha na. He doesn't have any kind of dependence on any of these things. It is not that only in his puja room or only in the temple he is experiencing the bliss of the self. Only in the morning time when he is in meditation, he is experiencing the bliss of the self. Nothing like that is there. So what place, what time, what posture he is sitting in, meditation you should sit straight, etc. But this jnani is lying down, it doesn't matter. Dik means which direction he is going, yama, niyama, etc. do's and don'ts. He should do this, he should not do this. Oh, he is talking about worldly matters, it doesn't matter. Lakshya Adi. What about the goal, etc.? What is he? None of these things he is dependent upon. Why? Because he is reached that state where no niyama is required, is necessary. Samsiddha tattvasya mahatmanaha. For this great Mahatma, samsiddha tattvaha, who has been established in that reality. Samsiddha, well established. Tattvaha, in that reality. Who is well established in that reality, swavedane, in recognizing oneself. Veda, again here dhatu is not vedana. Here vedane means in knowing swa, oneself. Veda word is from vid dhatu, no, to know. So swavedane means in knowing oneself, niyamadi avastha ka. What rules can there be? What rules are required? Means there are no rules that are required. To explain this further, Shankaracharya gives one example. That is his style. He will put a point and then give example to clarify. Let us see. Verse number 531. Ghatoyamiti vidnyatum niyamah konvapekshate vina pramana sushtutvam yasmin sati padarthadhihi. Ghatoyamiti vidnyatum niyamah konvapekshate vina pramana sushtutvam yasmin sati padarthadhihi. Ayam ghataha, ayam this, ghataha pot, ayam ghataha asti, this is pot. Iti vidnyatum, to know this, niyamaha kaha anuapekshate, what kind of rule or condition is required? Pramana sushtutvam vina. Without the pramana sushtutva, pramana means means of knowledge, sushtutva, usage of those means of knowledge. Other than pramanas being used, what other niyama is required to know that this is pot? What do you mean? This is pot is known by pratyaksha pramana. Correct? Direct perception. So, as long as there is pot, there is me, there is light, and my eyes are on the pot. This is called pramana sushtutva. For pratyaksha pramana to work, whatever is required. Once that is there any other means or any other rule that is required to know that this is pot? That no. If you want to know the pot, you must face the eastern side in the morning, west side in the evening. And if it is still not happening, move 45 degrees northeast, face that corner. All these kind of niyamas are there for action. Whenever we have to do particular action, there are many rules. Why? Because the perfection in action is possible only when you meet all those rules. But to gain knowledge, other than the pramana, there is no rule. Now imagine if you already have got knowledge, then what? Then obviously no niyama is required. That is what he is trying to say. Ayam ghataha iti vidnyatum, to know that this is a pot, pramana sushtutvam vina, without the proper use of means or means of knowledge, the eyes, kaha niyamaha anuapekshate. What other rule or condition is needed? What is required? Nothing. Yasmin sati, that when there, what pramana sushtutva, when the right means are there, padartha dhihi, there will be dhihi, knowledge of padartha, of the object. It is simple. Pramana is there, prama will happen. I hope you remember now all these things. Long back only we discussed. Now for a long time we have been just seeing jivan mukti lakshana. But I hope you remember. Pramata, knower. Prameya, object of knowledge. Pramana, means of knowledge. And when pramata through pramana comes to know prameya, it is called prama, knowledge. Correct? The knower, the object, the means and the knowledge. Now, this is called pramana sushtutva. When the right means are there, then the knowledge of that object will happen to the subject. For that, there is no other niyama which is required, which is needed. Yasmin sati, when that pramana sushtutva is there, when the right means are there, padarthadhihi, there will be knowledge of the object. In the same way. Now this is drishtanta. This is example. Now the arshtantika. What is the point? Next verse. Verse 532. Ayamatma nitya siddha pramane sati bhasate na desham napi va kalam na shuddhim vapyapekshate ayamatma nitya siddha pramane sati bhasate na desham napi va kalam na shuddhim vapyapekshate. Ayamatma, this self. Now there, what was the ghataha ayam? Okay, ayam ghataha was the knowledge. Now here what is the knowledge? This is the self. But what is the difference between the two? Ayam atma nitya siddha. This is nitya, ever, siddha, established. The self is always there. The pot may not be there all the time. And therefore, for knowing something outside, at least the outside object is required. Now here, in case of self, self is always available. Ayam atma nitya siddha. Pramane sati bhasate. When the right means are there, it bhasate. Bhasate means it shines. It expresses. And what is the right pramana? The right pramana, we have understood, is what? It is the self-knowledge. Isn't it? Shabda pramana, which has acted and now created this kind of knowledge. Right? So when once this ayam atma, which is nitya siddha, which has got pramana, bhasate, then it shines. When the pramana is there, when that self-knowledge is there, because for jivan mukta that self-knowledge is always there, it shines. Na desham, na api kalam, na shuddhim va api apekshate. Now, proper place, time, purity, etc. is not required. Means what? For the jivan mukta to experience the self, there is no other condition like place, time, purity, etc. Before gaining this knowledge also, these conditions were secondary. Place and time, not shuddhi. Place and time were secondary conditions. If you remember in Vivekachoodamani itself, Shankaracharya had said, Santyasmin sahakarinaha adhikarinam ashaste. The primary condition is qualification of the student. Upayaha deshakaladhyaha santi asmin sahakarinaha, he had said. Right in the beginning, maybe 10th verse or 14th verse or something like that will be there, right at the beginning. These are there, but they are only secondary important. What? Desha, kala, etc. Primary condition there also was adhikaritva. Now once that adhikaritva, shuddhi, etc. has come, focus has come, atmajnana has happened, the person has realized, then after that, these desha, kala, shuddhi, etc., these niyamas, these conditions are not required. They do not apply. They do not apply. Right? Concludes the topic. Ayam ghataha is still something outside. So he gives another example which is closer. Let us see verse number 533. Devadattohamitetat Vijnanam nirapekshakam Tadvad brahma vidopyasya Brahmahamiti vedanam Devadattohamityetat Vijnanam nirapekshakam Tadvad brahma vidopyasya Brahmahamiti vedanam Aham devadattaha iti etat vijnanam nirapekshakam. The knowledge, etat vijnanam, this knowledge that aham devadattaha, I am Devadatta, nirapekshakam, this is independent of any rule or condition. Just as all of us have this continuous understanding, thought that I am so and so, I am a man or a woman, I am a child or a middle-aged person or an old person. This kind of thought is there all the time. It does not require any other kind of condition. Oh no, morning I feel that I am man, but towards afternoon I start feeling that I am a woman. No, it doesn't happen like that. Nowadays you can't tell also. In West all these things are happening. Every day they are changing their gender and what all. It's all utter madness. But generally people whose mind etc. is at right place, you don't need conditions. That somebody asks you, what is your name? What time it is? According to the time, name doesn't change. Isn't it? Now, if it is true for body, mind, intellect, tadvat brahmavida api asya. Now, here we are talking about our absolute nature which never changes. At least there are different births that we have taken where our names have been different, where our bodies have been different. But we have always been Brahman. Brahma vidaha, one for whom the Brahman is known, asya, for such a person, Brahma aham iti vedanam nirapekshakam. This knowledge that I am Brahman is nirapekshakam. It is without any condition, without any obstruction, without any dependence. That is how that jivan mukta is. Veji, what is exactly this point means? Without any condition means jivan mukta is always jivan mukta. He doesn't need anything else for his jivan mukti. For experiencing that he is Brahman, he doesn't need anything else. That is the point. Desha, Kala, Shuddhi, all these things are not required. For such a person, they are not required. All right. Now, this covers that topic. Now what? Now he goes to the topic of that this Atma or Brahma, which is self-luminous, needs no other illumination. Okay, that is the topic that it goes into next 3-4 verses. Right, let us see. Verse number 534. Bhanuneva jagat sarvam bhasate yasya tejasa anatmakamasattuchham kim nu tasyavabhasakam. Bhanuneva jagat sarvam bhasate yasya tejasa yenatmakamasattuchham kim nu tasyavabhasakam. Bhanuna iva. Bhanuna, Bhanu means sun. Bhanuna, by the sun. Iva, like. Like by the sun, Sarvam Jagat, this entire world, Anatmakam, which is not self, Asat, unreal, Tucham, insignificant, Yasya Tejasa Bhasate, is illumined by whose light? Tasya avabhasakam kimnu. Who can be the illuminator of that? Now, two ways of looking at this verse. Okay. One way is the entire world is illumined by the sun. Okay. Who is the illuminator of the sun? The question is asked. This is one way of looking at this verse. Idam sarvam jagat anatmakam asat tucham bhanuna bhasate. Yasya tejasa, by whose light it is shining. Tasya avabhasakam kim. Who is the illuminator of that? Okay. One way. Better way of looking at this verse is Bhanuna iva. Like by the sun, the entire world is illumined by, but that sun is illumined by consciousness, by Brahman. For that Brahman, who is the illuminator? Okay. Why this kind of interpretation is better? Because Eva word is there. Bhanuna Eva Jagat Sarvam Bhasate. It is as though that the whole world is illumined by the sun. Okay. So Yasya Tejasa, by whose light, by the light of that consciousness, Bhanuna, through the sun or by the sun, Sarvam Jagat Bhasate. This entire world is illumined. So consciousness is illumining the sun, and the sun is illumining, so to say, the rest of the world. Okay. Tasya avabhasakam kim. Who is the illuminator of that? Means what? There is no illuminator of that consciousness. Is the final illuminator. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhanti, kutoyam agni, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Mundaka Upanishad, those who are attending, we just completed this verse, this mantra. Isn't it? The sun, the moon, the stars, the lightning, fire, none of them, the so-called luminaries, can illumine that self. It is actually because that self is shining, all the luminaries are shining. They illumine following the light of that consciousness. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. And then they go on to illumine the rest of the world as well. So it is this self which is shining, illumining everything. Who can illumine that self? Nobody can. Why? Because everything else is illumined by that consciousness. It is that which illumines everything, which can be illumined by nothing. That is the ultimate illuminator. That is this consciousness. One point that we need to understand in this is, when we say that the sun is the illuminator of the world, we are talking about the physical light. Isn't it? When we say sun is the illuminator of the world, we are talking about the physical world, which is illumined by the sun. Sun cannot illumine subtle world. What is happening in your mind? The sun cannot show me. What is happening on your face? Sun will be able to show me. Why? Physical light can illumine physical things. So when we talk of sun, moon, stars, etc., we are talking about that physical light. Brahman doesn't have that physical light, okay? Don't imagine that everything is illumined by Brahman, means Brahman will be that powerful light, you can't look at it. Not like that. It's not a physical light. It is the light of consciousness. It is the sentiency which is indicated as light. So when it is said it is the light behind the light, light of lights, it is the light that illumines the sun. What does it mean? It is the consciousness because of which the sun exists. And therefore it does its job of giving away the physical light. That is the only meaning. We should not immediately imagine that Brahman has got, lights coming out from all sides. It is not a physical light of Brahman. Why? Brahman doesn't have any physicality anyways. Nothing of Brahman can be seen. Okay. So, by whose light, in bracket consciousness, everything else is illumined. Who can illuminate? Nobody can. Okay. That is the point. Continues further. Let us see. Verse number 535. Veda Shastra Puranani Bhutani Sakalanyapi Yenarthavanti Tam Kimnu Vijñātāram prakāṣayet. Veda Shastra Purāṇāni Bhūtāni Sakalanyapi Yenārthavanti tam kinnu Vijñātāram prakāṣayet. Veda Shastra Purāṇāni Sakalani Bhūtāni api Yena Arthavanti. Veda Shastra Puranani, all the Vedas, scriptures, Puranas, etc. Sakalani Bhutani api. And even all the beings, Sakalani Bhutani api, Yena, by whom or because of whom, Arthavanti. Become meaningful. What do you mean they become meaningful? The Vedas, the Puranas, the Shastras, etc. speak of whom? One meaning. Or they are illumined by whom? Everything in the world, very interesting point, everything in the world has a purpose, has a meaning. And that is the very reason of their existence. If that meaning or purpose is not there, they will not exist. This is a subtle thought. Please give a moment and think. We may say something is absolutely of no value. Something is useless. But actually speaking, nothing in the world is useless. Because if it is utterly useless, it will not exist. The very fact that it is existing means it has some purpose, some value, some meaning. So they become meaningful by whom? Because of whom? Because of that existence. That is the reason for their existence, isn't it? Otherwise they will not be there. Arthavanti, tam, to that Vijñātāram, to that knower, to that consciousness which gives meaning to everything else. Kimnu prakāṣayet, who can illumine that consciousness? Nobody can. It is this consciousness which gives meaning to every single thing by giving existence. This consciousness is not illumined by anything else. Means what? Nothing else is giving meaning to this consciousness. It has its own meaning. Why? Because it has its own existence. It doesn't require any other existence. tam vidnyataram kim nu prakashayet. Who can illumine that consciousness? Nobody can. So consciousness is illumining everything, but nothing is illumining that consciousness. That is the point that the Guru is trying to explain. He says all the scriptures become meaningful because of this consciousness, because they talk about this consciousness. All the beings become meaningful because of this consciousness. Why? Because they become medium for the consciousness to express. It is the consciousness which gives meaning to everything of the world, and nobody else is required to illumine this consciousness. That is the point. Okay, now he concludes the topic with the next verse. Let us see. Esha swayam jyotirananta shaktihi Atma prameya sakalanubhutihi Yameva vidnyaya vimukta bandha Jayatyayam brahma viduttamottamaha Esha swayam jyotirananta shaktihi Atma prameya sakalanubhutihi Yameva vidnyaya vimukta bandha Jayatyayam brahma viduttamottamaha. He says, Eshaha swayam jyotihi. He is self-luminous. Swayam jyotihi. So this is the point. He is concluding that nothing can illuminate and it illumines everything. It is swayam jyoti. It is self-luminous. It illumines itself. It illumines everything else and nothing illumines it. Swayam jyotihi. Ananta shaktihi, of infinite power. Therefore, don't ask how can it illuminate itself also and others also. Ananta shakti is of infinite power. Atma, this self, aprameyaha, never becomes an object of knowledge. Ever remains the subject. Never becomes object. Sakala anubhutihi, and is experienced by all. Which it is experienced by all? Yes. The only thing that we can experience in the world is Atma. Why? Because everything is Atma only. The problem is we don't realize that it is the Atma that we are experiencing. That is a different matter. But what are we experiencing? We are experiencing Atma only. Why? Other than Atma there is nothing. What else will you experience? Sakala anubhutihi. Yam eva vidnyaya, knowing that Atma alone, vimukta bandha ayam. This knower now, this jnani has become vimukta bandha, has become freed, completely freed from bandha, from the bondage. Brahmavit uttamottamaha. Uttamottamaha Brahmavit. He has become the best of the best knowers of Brahman. Such a jnani, jayati. Jayati, he wins. What do you mean he wins? He becomes victorious, he becomes glorious. Nothing can bring him down now. He is always winning. Why? Because he has done what is to be done. That is, he has realized Brahman. Greatest victory is over oneself, and he has achieved that. He wins. He remains victorious. He remains victorious means he remains in that state of bliss. Never falls from that state. Never becomes samsari again. Has no future birth. These are all different things that come out when we say that he remains victorious. Now, how he remains victorious is explained now in the next section. Next shloka 537 up to 554. The end of Jivan Mukti topic. Okay. Then Videha Mukti topic will start. In this whole section, how he remains free, how he remains victorious. That is what is explained. Okay. Let us see. 537. न खिद्यते नो विषयैः प्रमोदते न सज्जते नापि विरज्यते च स्वस्मिन् सदा क्रीडति नन्दति स्वयं निरन्तरानन्दरसेन तृप्तः न खिद्यते नो विषयैः प्रमोदते न सज्जते नापि विरज्यते च स्वस्मिन् सदा क्रीडति नन्दति स्वयं निरन्तरानन्दरसेन तृप्तः निरन्तर आनन्दरसेन तृप्तः तृप्तः one who is fulfilled, content by what? Rasena, experiencing the essence of ananda, bliss, nirantara, continuously. One who is content by experiencing that unbroken bliss, essence of that unbroken bliss. Such a person, vishayaihi, by outer objects, na khidyate, does not grieve. When the objects go away, he does not grieve. Na pramodate, and doesn't become happy also, nor becomes elated. No. Neither he grieves nor becomes elated because of objects. See, sometimes some objects go away from us, therefore we are sad. Sometimes some objects come closer to us, therefore we are sad. Isn't it in food also? What we don't like, if somebody has made, then their presence makes us sad. Absence of certain things makes us sad. And when it is said vishayaihi, outer objects, we have to understand outer people also, situations also. This jivan mukta, because he is so content in that unbroken bliss of the self, by outer objects, situations, people, etc., he neither grieves nor does he become elated. Na sajjate, doesn't get attached. Na api virajjate, and doesn't even become detached. Actually, it doesn't matter to him at all anymore now. These things are there, not there. These things don't matter. We may say yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihinaha. We may say he is in yoga, he is in bhoga, he is with people, or he is without people. But the fact of the matter is, his mind is always in Brahman. Yasya Brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandati nandatyeva. He just rejoices. Swatmani swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam. That's why I am quoting that verse from Bhajagovindam. Because Shankaracharya is hinting it too. Swasmin sada kridati. One who sports, plays, swasmin, in one's own self. Sada, all the time. Kridati. Nandati is rejoicing also within only. Atma kridaha, atma ratihi. Another mantra from Mundaka. Okay. Atma kridaha. His sport is with oneself. Atma ratihi, he is reveling in oneself. He doesn't need anything outside. So he doesn't become happy or sad according to the objects. He doesn't get attached to the objects, doesn't even feel detached from the objects. It doesn't matter. They are there, very good. They are not there, very good. Okay. Swayam, oneself, that is what is the experience of that person. Nirantaranandarasena truptaha, because he is content by the essence of that unbroken bliss. It is something like this, you see, imagine. When you are learning some art, or suppose you are learning to speak in front of people, public speaking, let us say. Then what happens? If there are too many people, you are more scared. isn't it? Initially. So what do you say? Oh, there are so many people. What if I make a blunder? Now when you become very good with it, you are scared if there are less people. See, interesting. Life is very, very interesting. Now you are not scared of more people. You are scared if there are less people. What will I do? But then you reach a stage where it doesn't matter. Whether more people or less people or no people, only camera is there. So what? It doesn't matter. Or if camera is also not there, you are alone with yourself. You enjoy. It is something like this. The example is not fully communicating, but it is something like that. Initially, because we are not experiencing that bliss of the self, therefore, we have certain kind of dependence on the objects. If the likable objects are there, then I am happy. If those objects are there which I hate, I will become unhappy. So I am attached, I am detached, I have all these things. Why? Because I am not experiencing that bliss of the self. Once you experience that, the outside objects, people, situations, they do not matter at all. And that's why he is always victorious. See? He is always victorious. Even before he starts playing the game, he is victorious. Why? Swasmin sada kridati. Because his sport is within. He is reveling within. Nandati. And therefore he is always victorious. Okay. Another example Shankaracharya gives. Beautiful example. Let us see. Verse number 538. Kshudham dehavyatham tyaktva balah kridati vastuni tathaiva vidvan ramate nirmamo niraham sukhi. Kshudham dehavyatham tyaktva balah kridati vastuni tathaiva vidvan ramate nirmamo niraham sukhi. Kshudham dehavyatham tyaktva balah vastuni kridati. A small child, balah, kridati, he plays. He plays vastuni with his toys. How? Kshudham, hunger. Dehavyatham, physical pain, discomfort. Tyaktva, giving up all these things. The child, while playing with the toys, doesn't think of all those things. It is the mother who has to tell the child, hey, come now, eat something. Especially, you should see these children, small kids, especially when they go for some functions, etc., you should see. Because generally in your own house, they are in a close environment, only 3-4 people they see. But suddenly they go to this place where there are more children and suddenly there is more space also to run. It can be family function or religious function or festival or something is there. Then they keep running here, there, everywhere. And mother knows very well what? Today the child will run and then tomorrow the legs will be paining, there fell down, so here there is one wound, there is another wound. That time while playing, that child doesn't care about anything. Kshudham dehavetam tyaktva. Giving up all this hunger and thirst, etc. All other times the child may continuously cry, give me food, give me food. But now that he is playing with the toys, with the other friends, he doesn't care. Tatha eva vidvan ramate. He says, in the same way, this jnani ramate, he revels. Nirmamaha, without any attachment to anything. Niraham, without any ego. Sukhi, is always blissful. Like a child, innocent happiness. So many times, we have earlier also said, no reason is required for children to remain happy. if you just look at them, no, for no reason they are happy. You do repeated actions, they will be repeatedly happy. We may get bored, they don't get bored. 10 times you do like this, they will smile, laugh every single time. You do 100 times, they will laugh 100 times. They are not bored of anything. Such joy in, so to say, absolutely insignificant things. They become happy in that. In the same way, this jnani, actually his joy is coming from where? It's coming from his own self. And therefore, he is always like that child. Kshudham deha vyatham tyaktva. He doesn't remember hunger, etc. is there for the body. It is said about Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also, no? It is Sharda Devi who had to tell Sri Ramakrishna that, it is time for your food, etc. Otherwise, he will be reveling in his own bliss. No attachment to that extent that not even aware of anything that is happening. And such a person, he is so free. There are no words to explain about his freedom. Still, Shankaracharya ji, as always, is trying to put it into words. Next to verse, he is telling how he has nothing but he has everything. How that jnani, so to say, has nothing, but actually he has everything. Very, very beautiful verse is there, 539. Again in a longer meter. Chinta shunyam bhaikshamashanam. Panam saridvarishu. Swatantrena nirankusha sthitirabhihi. Nidra shmashane vane. Vastram kshalana shoshanadirahitam. Digvastu shayyamahi. Sancharo nigamanta vithishu vidam. Krida pare brahmani. Chinta shunyam bhaikshamashanam. Panam saridvarishu. Swatantrena nirankusha sthitirabhir nidra shmashane vane. Vastram kshalana shoshanadirahitam. Digvastu shayyamahi. Sancharo nigamanta vithishu vidam. Krida pare brahmani. Beautiful verse. Vidam. There is one verse. There is one word you see. Nigamanta vitishu vidam. Vidam, for these knowers, for these jnanis, chinta shunyam adainya bhaiksham. Ashanam. Ashanam means food. What is food for these people? Adainya bhaiksham. Bhaiksham means that which is obtained by bhiksha, alms. But how is that offering of, means attaining of that bhiksha also? Adainyam. There is no dina bhava. There is no humiliation involved. It is not like beggar who is begging food because he doesn't have anything. There is a difference. Beggar doesn't have food, doesn't have any money to get the food, therefore he is begging for food. Jnani is not begging for that reason. That's why it is called bhiksha. There is one very famous story of Samartha Ramdas Swami. The Samartha Ramdas Swami was a great saint of 15th, 16th century, in Maharashtra. and he was a sannyasi, Naishtika Brahmachari also, and then he became sannyasi. And then, so his thing was that when he will go to ask for bhiksha, every single time he will chant or compose some shloka to give knowledge to the grihini who is offering that bhiksha, to that householder lady who is offering the bhiksha. He will give knowledge. Why? He was very clear that I am not going to ask for food. I am going to give knowledge. And therefore, when he will go, it is not out of dainya bhava he will go. He will actually go by... There is one beautiful verse that he used to say, "Mi काय कुणाचे खातो रे तो देव आम्हाला देतो रे." I am not eating anybody's food. It is the God who is giving me. You imagine you are going to somebody's house asking for bhiksha and you are saying, it is not you who is giving me bhiksha, it is my God who is giving me bhiksha. What kind of confidence has to be there? It is a fact. And that's why we always, whenever we say, no, after we finish the food, etc., we say that may the giver of the food be happy. Isn't it? We always use that word. Giver of the food is not the person who is giving the bhiksha, who is cooking or who is serving me. That annadata is the Lord. He is giving me. So though those people are living on bhiksha, adainya bhiksham. Adainya bhiksham. And also chinta shunyam. You see another word. Chinta shunyam means without any worry. He is not worried about whether I will get bhiksha tomorrow or not. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Chinta shunyam adainya bhiksham ashanam. That is his food. So he is not worried about, we all are worried about our food only. We do all our things because of our worry for food. Why are we doing job? Because I don't have any other job wage. No, that is not the reason why you are doing job. If you didn't have anything to do, you would have sat nicely at home. But you want money. From that money, you want to buy so many other things. From that, so many other things, you have to sustain your own livelihood. Finally, it comes down to you have to feed yourself and your family. Chinta shunyam adainya bhiksham ashanam. But for this person, he lives on bhiksha, which is not with dina bhava. With helplessness, he is not asking. Okay, and panam, what is he drinking? Saridvarishu panam. Sarit means river. Vari means water. The waters of river is what is he is drinking. It is said about Ramdas Swami himself that he will have one cloth bag where he will receive all the bhiksha. And whoever gives whatever, he will in that only. So somebody is giving cooked rice, somebody is giving dry rice, means not cooked, raw rice. Somebody is giving sabji, somebody is giving chapati. Whatever is there, everything is put in that cloth bag. And then he will go to the river, he will put that cloth bag into water. So that all the salt and all the masala, etc. goes away. And then he used to eat. Why? Because that thought should not come that, oh, in this house I got interesting food, therefore I will go to the same house every day. Nothing. It all becomes one. That's why Gangaji, etc., whichever river is there, just wash it and then eat. Panam saridvarishu. You are thirsty, go. River water is always available. Swatantrena nirankusha sthitihi. How does he stay? He stays nirankusha, without any restraint. Ankusha means restraint. Rules. Nirankusha sthitihi. There are no rules. No rules. In the olden times, they even, see, these borders of nations, etc., those also have come recently only. In those times too, they used to just go wherever they feel like walking and going, they will go. They are going to Kailash, etc. They are going here, there. Whether in between Nepal comes or China comes or Pakistan comes or Bangladesh, it doesn't matter to them. They will go. Nirankusha, swatantrena, with full freedom. Nirankusha, without any restraint. Sthitihi. That is how they used to stay. And what about sleep? Nidra smashane vane. Sleep is in cremation ground, smashane, or vane, in the forest. But how is that sleep? Abhihi, fearless sleep. We don't even go to smashana at night. We're so much afraid, isn't it? Actually, we are very interesting people. Why? Because we are afraid of things we should never be afraid of. If one place that the ghost will never come is smashana. If you say you are afraid of ghost, see, if you believe that in the cremation ground more ghosts are, no. If there are ghosts, they will go out now. Why will they stay in smashana? It is like they have got full freedom to go anywhere. Why will they stay in their own place where they have to lie down all the time? So the only place that you should never be afraid of is smashana. But no, we interestingly are always afraid of that cremation ground, etc. Smashana, vana, forest. What if somebody comes? That is the fear. Actually, nobody is there. You should be happy nobody is there. Nice. There are many people I know that even nice house, they can't sleep in that. Nice house is there. There are so many people around. So many flats are there in the building. There also, abhihi nidra is not there. Abhihi means without fear. But how is this person? It doesn't matter for him. Smashane or vane, whether he is in cremation ground or in forest, he sleeps without any fear. Abhihi nidra, smashane vane. Vastram. What kind of clothes is he wearing? Kshalana shoshanadi rahitam. Clothes are such which do not require kshalana. Kshalana means washing. Shoshana means drying. He is probably wearing one langot, kaupina, kaupinavantam, kaupinavanta khalu bhagyavanta. There is a kaupina panchakam written by Shankaracharya. 5 verses on those people who wear kaupina, means those who are sannyasis. And he says, kaupinavantaha khalu bhagyavanta. Those people who wear kaupina are actually blessed people. Why? No tension. Kshalana shoshanadi rahitam vastram. Clothes are like that. Vastu. And what is the house? Dig vastu. All directions are his house. So any direction sleep. Why? Wherever you go, directions are always there. Means what? It is his own house. Gurudev's one name is Aniketaya Namaha. One who has no house. Aniketa. Aniketa means without any house. Why? Everything, the whole world is my house only. Dig vastu. Shayya mahi. Mahi means earth. Shayya, that is the bed. Okay, so far what all things he has said, that for such jnanis, eating is what? That bhiksha, that or the food which one has gained in the bhiksha, which is adainyam, without any helplessness, chinta shunyam, without any tension, worry. Panam saridvarishu. Water for drinking is from the rivers. Nirankusha, swatantrena nirankusha sthitihi. Staying is without any restraint, with full freedom. Abhihi nidra smashane vane. Sleeping in the forest or in the cremation ground without fear. Vastram kshalana shoshanadi rahitam. Clothes to wear are such which do not require washing or drying. Dig vastu. The house is all the directions. Shayya mahi. And the bed is the ground, the earth. Now he says next one. Sancharaha. Where do they roam? Nigamanta vithishu. What a beautiful thing to say. Vithi means marga, road. Vithishu, on the roads. On which roads are they roaming? Nigama anta. Nigama means Veda. Nigama anta Vedanta Vitishu Sancharaha. They are roaming on the roads of Vedanta. Means what? They are always reveling in that philosophy. Krida Pare Brahmani. And how are they? Where are they sporting, playing? They are playing with that Supreme Brahman. Pare Brahmani Krida. That is the most wonderful life of jnanis. No rules. Krida Pare Brahmani. They are just sporting. मन लागो मेरो यार फकीरी में, जो सुख पावत राम भजन में, वो सुख नाही अमीरी में. मन लागो मेरो यार फकीरी में. There is one very beautiful bhajan. In Marathi, this is called Khushichi Fakiri. Means this is becoming fakir. Fakir means, in Urdu, fakir means the beggar. But he is the beggar who is becoming beggar out of happiness, not out of helplessness. He is opting to be like this. There is another verse in Bhajagovindam itself. Suramandiraru moola nivasaha shayya bhutalam ajinam vasa sarva parigraha bhogatyaga kasya sukham na karoti viraga. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam. Isn't it? Suramandiraru moola nivasa. He is either living in that in the Sura Mandira, in a temple, or Taru Moola, or under a tree. That is where he stays. Shayya Bhutalam is sleeping on the ground. Ajinam Vasaha. That space, the directions, or the sky is his clothes. Or Vasa can also mean Nivasaha, or his house is that. Sarva Parigraha Bhogatyaga. He is given up all attachment to all kinds of enjoyments. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. What bliss can this viraga not give? Okay, that is the point. Mana lago mero yar fakiri me. The saint is saying there that may my mind revel in this kind of fakiri, in this kind of life. Why? Jo sukha pavata Rama bhajana me. The bliss that I get by chanting the name of my beloved Lord, wo sukha nahi amiri mein, that I will not get by wealth and comforts. Therefore, may I remain this fakir. Okay, that is what he is explaining. He is enjoying. That is the bliss that he is in. Let us see one more verse and we will stop for today. Verse 540. Vimanamalam vyashariram Bhunatyasheshan vishayanupasthitan Parechaya balavatma vetta Yo vyaktalingo nanushakta bahyah. Vimanamalam vyashariram bhunatyasheshan vishayanupasthitan Parechaya balavatma vetta Yo vyaktalingo nanushakta bahyah. Vimanam alambya. Vimana here is not in the meaning of aeroplane or anything. Vimana, mana means ego. Vi means gone. Any kind of I-ness and my-ness is gone without any of this. Or mana can mean identification also, no? So, without taking recourse to any kind of identification, etat shariram, towards this body, etat shariram vimanam alambya. No attachment to the body. Bhunakti asheshan vishayan upasthitan. Asheshan upasthitan vishayan bhunakti. Bhunakti means he enjoys. He enjoys vishayan, the objects. Asheshan, all. upasthitan, which have presented themselves. He is not seeking objects. Whichever objects come in front of him, he enjoys. And how do they come in front of him? Parechchaya, parasya ichchaya, by the wish of that Lord. By the wish of that Supreme Lord, whatever comes, he enjoys. Like what? Balavat, like a child. Whatever is there for the child, he becomes happy with that. And that's why I said, no, it is a very innocent kind of joy. You give that child a pen, he starts playing with that pen as though, that pen is the most expensive thing in the whole world. And if he doesn't get anything, even one stone is sufficient. It gives same kind of joy. You may say, oh, the child is going for mobile. The child will take and put it in the mouth only. He doesn't understand that mobile is expensive, the pen is not and stone is not at all. He doesn't understand all those things. Vimanam etat shariram asheshan upasthitan vishayan bhunakti parechchaya. By his wish, he enjoys all of them. Balavat, like a child. Atmavettayah, this knower of the self who is this way. Avyaktalingaha, beautiful visheshana for this jnani. He is avyaktalingaha. Avyakta means unmanifest. Lingaha means indicator. Means what? His jnana that he is experiencing does not manifest. You will never know by a behavior of somebody whether that person is realized or not realized. There is no external insignia. Nobody would understand that he or she is a jnani. You will not know. How some are, extremely. You go to them, no? Suppose there are some holy places, etc. You go there and some Mahatmas are staying there. There are some Mahatmas, if you go closer, they will throw stones at you. You look at it and you will feel, what is this madman? You never know. You never know. Which kind of jnani is staying in which kind of vesha, we have no idea. Actually speaking, real jnanis will always remain in such places where you will not recognize. Quietly they will be sitting somewhere, doing their own things. You will not recognize. Avyaktalingaha, but ananushakta bahyaha. Na anushakta bahya. Bahya means towards outer objects. Anushakta means attached. Ananushakta means not attached. Not attached to the external objects, this jnani just remains like a child. What? Enjoying whatever comes in front of him. Considering that it has come by the wish of the Lord, he enjoys that. Okay? Doesn't crave for anything, nor becomes unhappy if something is taken away. It doesn't matter. This is the state of that jnani. Shankaracharya continues, whether that person is with clothes or without clothes, or with wearing the skin of the animals, it doesn't matter. That is what he will continue. We will see in the next session. If Brahman is difficult to explain, Brahmajnani is even more difficult to explain. But Shankaracharya is doing it. All the Upanishads do that, right? Bhashyakara is following the trend of the Upanishads and trying to portray what cannot be portrayed. Okay? Let us see. We will conclude for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.